Hello, everyone. Good evening. It's Brian Moxley smoking my Marlboros. I've got a picture I'd like to show you guys. Something I seen. First, we're going to watch this video. So let me play this video for you guys. It's something Heather, or it's me, just shared on the True Crime Files page. And I thought it was interesting, so I'm going to share it with you guys. So let me do this, and here we go.
Hi there, everyone. Carly Moore with Fox 21 here. I just kind of wanted to give you an update on what's going on in the Gannon search. So today is day 21. 21 days since 11-year-old Gannon Stout has been missing. We're out here in Douglas County where they started searching not quite a week ago. They've been out here in Douglas County searching several private properties for we have no idea what, but they've kind of been shoveling through the snow. And right here on this road behind me, this is Highway 101. You can see that there's a community service deputy for Douglas County out there, and there's actually one more further back you can see. So they are actually blocking off one lane of Highway 104 along the search area. So if you're coming one way or another, you will have to stop, wait for the traffic to come by, and then the deputies will let you go through the other way. So there's definitely some cars lining up here, because they are coming to this roadblock. So these people are being backed up while the other side comes through, and then these cars are allowed to go, and that just process is repeated. The reason why they're doing this is because they are blocking off the lane closest to the area where they are searching. It looks like they have snow shovels. Again, there's still snow on the ground out here in Douglas County, right on the Douglas County line of El Paso County. So there's still snow on the ground. They have what it looks like to be snow shovels and buckets that they're putting snow into, shoveling stuff into. And we just drove by, we did one more pass, and I saw a couple of investigators or searchers or deputies shaking one of those, like a shaker board with snow on the top, almost like they were sifting something out of the snow into a container below. I'm not exactly sure what they're looking for. I'm not sure we'll know what they're looking for, but they are sort of shaking the snow, having it fall down into that other container. I'm sure they're looking for something small. It has to be something very small that they're looking for if they're trying to sift through the snow out here. So again, one lane. Oh, here's the group of cars waiting as the other people coming the other way can drive. So down to one lane out here in Douglas County on Highway 105, just outside of Palmer Lake. So if you are planning to come this way, just something to be aware of for sure. So we'll keep you up to date on fox21news.com and on air as well. We will go on after the Daytona 500 today. So whenever that ends, we will have a show. If it ends later than 5:30, we'll be on at 6:30 to give you that update. So a little bit of a different news schedule, but just wanted to keep you up to date. You can always, of course, follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. See, all these people are lining up here, realizing that they have to wait. Then they will drive right by that search area where you can see those crews kind of doing that sifting motion. So I'll post that video later here in just a minute. That way you can kind of see what I saw. I'm not allowed to stay over there for very long. Again, it's just for through traffic. There is another pullout. So we're out here on a pullout right now, but that other pullout is actually private property, and that property owner doesn't want the media, or I don't think anyone else on that property during this time. So all we can do is drive by. So that's why all of our videos will be kind of moving along in the car. So I'll keep you up to date. I'll post that video of that sifting motion again here in just a second, so you can get a better idea of what I saw. But again, stay up. I'll keep you up to date on the social media as well as fox21news.com. Thank you so much.
All right, so that was just a little video that It's Me had shared on the True Crime Files page. There's one picture I want to show you guys if I can find it. And I sent it to maybe send message request. There it is. I'll show you guys this photo, and I think it's very important. I hope you guys can read that. it kind of reminds me of what's going on right now. It just simply says they have to talk about you because when they talk about themselves, nobody listens. I just thought that was that really hit home with everything going on right now. So I just wanted to share that with you guys. So not really nothing that important, but just to share that, I thought that was pretty good. All right. How's everyone tonight? It's Monday night. We've got several things going on. Several Gannon stalks still missing. Apparently, they're searching a field. They've got a highway 105 down to one lane. They're sifting through snow with some sort of sifter, is what the report was just talking about. See, I'm reading the comments, so give me just a second. Wants her to go to that. Okay, so Dad with the phone page, Facebook page, he follows the case. This is from Angie Johnson. He said that Landon talked to law enforcement and they want her to go to that site tomorrow where they're searching. So apparently they've received some sort of tip or something to lead them to this location, obviously. And it looks like with them calling the family, they've also, from what I've heard, have shut down the tip lines. And they're sifting the through the snow on the side of a Highway 105. They have closed it down to one lane and it's backing up traffic. And so it's not sounding good. It's going on 20, I think she said 21 days. And that's 3 weeks. So, the weather out there is not good. And it's just not a good situation. And also, somebody sent me some stuff, some pictures and stuff of Faye Wetlick, the little girl that was missing. The after the fact, reading the psychics, what he had said about the case, he was pretty much dead on with the description of Cody and the location where the body would be close to the residence they had already searched and everything. And Ween, Fane, easy now. I'll get you a Tennessee one night. Is that okay? I tell you what, Ween, I'll make you a deal the next time Tennessee beats Kentucky. I will put up a Kentucky or a Tennessee background for you. It sure like it sounds really weird that they would be sifting through the snow. What they would be looking for, I don't know. Hello, Dodie, and hello, everyone. I forgot to say hello to everybody when we first got started because we played the video right off the bat. So they're sifting through snow with a highway down to one lane, and that just, I don't know. What would they be sifting through the snow for? Bones? Yeah, if they did that as a body burnt, sometimes they would, sift for bones, anything DNA material that would be left, possibly burnt the body. And that's just speculation on my part. I have no idea if that's what happens. It just seems odd that they have a sifter on the side of the highway through the snow. We was supposed to have someone come on tonight. Angela Laster was going to come on. She was going to update us on all the cases. And at the last minute, she had something come up with her grandma, so she was unable to come on. If there's anybody that would like to come on and just like co-host, or if they know information about some cases possibly that I don't know, a couple of you guys that have sent me the messages, if you want to come on and share your messages that you shared with me. Carol Brenner says, hate to say it, but maybe a murder weapon. And then Crystal G says bone fragments. Anyway about it with the time frame that has gone by. And before I forget, Gebel the Rebel just says Faye Wetlick, her autopsy report is going to be published tomorrow. They do have a press conference set for 3 p.m. Eastern Time, and they are going to explain the connection between the bodies. They say there is no danger to the public. Pure speculation on my part. I believe it's probably murder suicide, possibly. He had been, in my opinion, he had probably been watching this girl for a while. I believe he took her when she got off the bus and abducted her, and probably sexually assaulted her. This is just my opinion. Maybe he accidentally killed her, and then after doing that, he realized it was the situation had gone too far, and he committed suicide. That's completely speculation and opinion on my part, but that's what it sounds like to me possibly happened. How long had he been watching this girl? There is no telling. And what would attract a 30-year-old man to a 6-year-old child is beyond something I can think about. I can't even comprehend that, what somebody would see in that. It's just a very, very sad story. She was such a beautiful little girl, beautiful eyes, red hair. She was in first grade. Her life had just began, and it's terrible. This man, 30-year-old man, snuffed down her life, and for what reason? It's just tragic. But there will be a press conference on the Faye Wetlick autopsy report tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. They will discuss the autopsy results, the cause of death, and they will also discuss the connections between the bodies. Hello, Marge, Courier Service, MAC. How are you tonight? Yeah, it's a very, very sick individual. A 30-year-old man attracted to a 6-year-old child is, in my opinion, I believe he probably took her off the bus, because that's the last. They have a video of her getting off the bus, and then that's the last time she's seen. The parents then reported her missing. That was at 3:45. Hello, Casey. And that's when the parents reported her missing, was at 5 p.m. that same day. And very tragic. Young life like that. I mean, first grade, her whole life ahead of her. And very sad. And then when Gannon Stout, the longer it goes, in my opinion, the less likely it is he will be found alive. I also are seeing today that the Daybells, Lori Vallow Daybell and Chad Daybell, they checked out of their whatever the house or the luxurious apartment, whatever they were staying in, and headed for Maui. I don't know if they're going there for some sort of, because that's still in Hawaii. I am Cody says grandma got her off the bus. I didn't hear that. I heard that the last time she was seen is when the camera on the bus filmed her getting off the bus, and that's the last time she was seen, is what I had heard. Now, I could be wrong about that. Okay, Faye went in her house and then out to play. Okay, so see, I've got some misinformation on that. Anyway about it, regardless of when she went missing and where she went missing, I believe this man had stalked her out. I believe he had been watching her for some time, and he had planned to sexually assault her, is what I believe. And I think the psychic said that he had a dog, and he lured her to his residence, saying there were puppies there. So that's what the psychic said. And with the description he gave, the location of the body, to the other body, to the male's body, Cody, the 30-year-old male, he was spot on with everything that he had said. He told him, "You've already searched the place." There's so many psychics out there that are wrong. It's hard to. This is sad that we probably had a legitimate psychic telling. But how do you know? How do you know that's going to be a legitimate psychic and his reports are true? Um, it's just lawless is chilling to think about. Some people are just sick in the head. It's crazy to think that evil walks in plain sight with us every day. Yeah. I mean, right there in the neighborhood, who would have thought that? They probably see this guy every day walking his dog, or out and about, her out and about too. Probably is where he's, seen her outside playing, and has had some sort of sick fascination come to her, in my opinion, and decided to abduct her. And Triple H says such a sad case. Faye was such a cute child and well loved. Oh, if you see pictures of her, she was a beautiful child. And Michelle Cameron says we need to be able to somehow put GPS trackers on our phone. My daughter, I got her a phone. She was pretty young. I can't remember the exact age, but she was a lot younger than, a lot of kids get a phone. And the main reason I did it is in case she was out somewhere and she had a way to call somebody. My mom, her grandmother, she even said she's too young to have a phone. She don't need that, blah, blah, blah. And I made a decision that she did need a phone, and I wanted her to have a phone in case she needed to contact anyone. Hello, Carol. How are you tonight? I'm Carolyn and Carol. Hello to everyone. How's everyone tonight? It's good to see all you guys, spend part of the evening with you. I don't know how long I'll go tonight because wrestling is on tonight. I know it's me as excited in Monday Night Raw. Actually, it's not been too good here lately. If you're a wrestling fan, it has been pretty boring in my opinion. But yeah, Gable the Rebel, he was a frustrated individual, a loser. It was said that the creep was celibate. I don't know, but it seems like, in my opinion, what other reason would he have to abduct this child? And in my opinion, and this is just pure speculation, and I've already said this once tonight. Hello, Gingy. How are you tonight? What do you say, oh God, for, Casey? I believe, and this is just purely my opinion, I believe he possibly accidentally killed her. And then after that happened, he realized it had gone too far and committed suicide. That's what my opinion is. Now, I could be way off, could be way wrong. Anyway, about it, a beautiful child that was loved by many, that loved so many. First grade, 6 years old. They have made a memorial at the, the sign of her school. I can't think of the name of it right now, but they've made a makeshift memorial in her honor at her elementary school. A lot of kids are dropping off teddy bears and balloons and leaving cards and things like that. In Shirley cases, that's what she's thought for a while. The autopsy has been done, Carol, and there will be a press conference tomorrow at 3 p.m. to go over the autopsy results, cause of death, and how both bodies were connected to her. Mark Courier, I don't know. That's just my opinion, and it makes sense to me only because of the fact that if he planned this, Springdale Elementary, Christy May says, so they've made a makeshift memorial, at the Springdale Elementary sign entrance to the school. Like the brick sign that says Springdale Elementary. They've made a memorial in her honor. You can go online and look at it. It's pretty good. It's pretty nice memorial they've made for her. Carol says she grew up on WWF and 100% believed it. I liked when you used to go to wrestling and all these little old grandmothers. They really got into it. I've seen old ladies swing at wrestlers. It's pretty funny back in the day. Back when you could go to local wrestling and everything wasn't WWE, that was the good old days. But let me smoke my Marlboro that everybody gets upset about. Now, I won't be able to see your comments for a few minutes because I'm going to read something to you. I would show it to you, but I don't want to show the person that sent it. I don't want to release her name or nothing. But she sent me some stuff tonight. She believes that, let me start at the beginning here. She said she watched Plunder today, and she was focused on the other house. They're saying that the house they're showing on TV or whatever is not his house. She was trying to zoom in on the windows, and she's seen the same house on several other channels as well. The poor people that live in that house are going to get harassed. They are next to each other, but fairly certain his house is the right second door. So let me click on this picture and say, I'll try to show you guys this picture. Hopefully it won't show her name, but I don't. Okay, so here's one of the pictures that was sent, and I will show you the rest of the pictures like this. Police in South Carolina say evidence links face sweat lick to dead neighbor found nearby. Of course, they will talk about that tomorrow in the press conference at 3 p.m. This is just a picture she's got circled. She's saying that they are given the wrong address and showing the wrong address in the media, and afraid the people that live there are going to get harassed. They're believing it's next door to where they're showing on, see, it says 505 right here. And I believe she says she believes it's 602. So let me go back off of that. Yeah, Emma, like I said, I think it doesn't make sense. And I believe that he accidentally killed her and then, realized that the situation had gone too far and then killed himself. Okay, so the girl's instant messaging me right now. So she wants me to get the information right. She said, no, it's the right address, but people are showing that 505 house as his. Okay, so let me just get this right. She's giving me this information right now in an instant message. So the address, but the people are showing that 505, and his address is 602. Okay, so they're showing the wrong house in the media, I'm assuming. Christy, do you want to come on live? You don't have to come on camera. You can if you want. And give us your info that you have on the case if you'd like to. You can strictly use a microphone, no camera, or you could come on camera. She says they are saying 602, which is his address, but they're showing 505. Okay. And she says, no, I don't do live. Ha ha. Okay. I just wanted to check with you. I thought you might. So she just wants to clear up the information. She says it's the right address, but people are showing that 505 house is his. They say 602, which is his address. Okay. So hopefully I got that right. Yes, they are releasing both autopsies tomorrow, and they're going to release the connection between the two bodies. So if my question is, if he accidentally killed her and then committed suicide, how would they know that from the autopsy? I don't know, because what would be the difference? For instance, how would they tell the difference if he accidentally killed her or if he killed her on purpose with an autopsy? Like I said, I'm purely speculating on this. She sent me another message. She says the house I circled is his, also where the evidence tape is in other pictures. Okay, so I think we've got it right now, hopefully, and I'll show you that picture again. Give me just a second to get back to it. She said the house she circled is his. Okay, so let me bring this back up. So this house circle here, she says, is his. This is 602. Okay, so I believe we've got this right. Is that right? What shall I call you? KM? Okay, so the house circle. All right, I believe we have it right now. Oh, right. What did I miss? Had Cindy been watching her? Hello, Mox and everyone from Wisconsin. Packing for LA tomorrow. Got to get out of this cold. Are you talking LA as in Los Angeles or LA as in Louisiana? Give me a second here. She says, yes, don't care if you say her name. Okay, I just didn't want to say your name and you don't want it out there. I think I said it already anyway, so it really doesn't matter after I accidentally said it. Let's see how. And if you don't care, there's 106 people watching. If you don't care, hit that like button for me, please. Or you can hit the dislike button, either one. Either one you want to do, like or dislike. Just please hit it for me. Yes, they did find some of her belongings in his garbage. That's what led them back to the scene. The police were actually, from what I heard, riding or going along on the garbage route with the garbage men to check the garbage cans. Someone said earlier we need to find a way to put GPS trackers on our children. I believe, in a way, that would be a good idea. Put a chip in them like you do an animal, so you can and just have it be as a GPS tracker. I think a lot of people will probably oppose that because, if you believe in the Bible, it talks about at the end of time you will have a some sort of chip or mark placed upon your body. So I'd say there would be a lot of Christians against that. But if your child goes missing, you would know where they're at. You need to have a way that the person that took them would not be able to get to this chip and turn it off or destroy it or anything like that. That's actually a pretty good idea. And just make it where whoever would be taking the child or something cannot destroy it or get to it. Well, Amy, the thing about that though is, a lot of people don't wear earrings, and what about boys? They don't wear the earrings or anything like that. I mean, that's a good idea. Perhaps how they put tubes in kids' ears. You could place, and they make stuff so tiny anymore that small. They place something inside the ear like they do the tubes for children when they have ear, nose, and throat problems. Somewhere in the shoulder, somewhere that's a fatty area, place it just underneath the skin. Kind of like women that have the pregnancy protection. So they don't get pregnant. They have that little, just a small implant put right under the skin. Triple H says chipping our kids is extreme, but it might be needed nowadays. I believe it is extreme, but when you think about all of the children that have gone missing, they are abducted. We have the technology to do it, so why not do it? And like do it when they're first born. Like when a male baby's first born, they circumcise him, which is very painful. They do that when they're first born. If they would put a crystal Jesus as a chip is smaller than a grain of rice, they could place this chip in a child right after birth. And well, Carol, not necessarily surgically implanting anything, but placing it, right under the skin, like they do women. It's where they don't get pregnant. They'll have a small implant put right under the skin. Sadly, if a kidnapper or sex trader wants a kid, they're going to cut the chip out of a kid. The thing about that, I am Coyote, there could be several different places they could put it and place it various randomly on them, not have a read my post, please, bro. Okay, sorry, I missed it. Ange Wallace, I'm going to look on the internet and buy some for my granddaughter. I don't know if that's the one you wanted me to read. Let me go back, guys. Okay, so she says, I believe you can buy microchips to go on your pet's collars in case they go missing, and someone suggested sewing them into your kids' coat, backpacks, etc. Yeah, that's a very good idea. The only thing about that is and see, Flower Power, that's exactly what I was saying. Flower Power says, not for me, it's the mark of the beast. I said just a minute ago, if you believe in the Bible, you would probably be against something like this, because at the end of time, it talks about having some sort of mark or chip placed in your body known as the mark of the beast, if you believe in the Bible. So I think a lot of people would be opposed to this, and I think a lot of people would be for it. Maybe make it a choice for the parents. Thursday's child says, absolutely, I would not chip my child, and if that is brought in, it opens up for the government to follow your child. Well, the thing about it, though, Thursday's child, think about this: if your child was to go missing, you would be able to locate them immediately. I know there's a lot of bad with it, but there is also a lot of good with it. It could be the choice of the parents, and it'd be very controversial, Triple H. I agree completely with that. The journey to justice says maybe put it in the teeth as a filling. That's a great idea. I think if you do it when they're first born, like when they first born, my male is circumcised, do the same thing. The child, would be too young to really feel the pain. And Amy Ashley says the government already knows where your child is. If your child has a telephone, anything like that, they do know where you are. It would be very controversial. I could see both sides of it. And I believe my stance on it would be to do it, because your child goes missing, they won't be searching for days. You could immediately find them. They would grill a kid and beat them until they told. Well, here's the thing with that, Gypsy Rhiannon. Have it where you can put the chip in different places and the child does not know. Have it done right when they're born. Have several different locations that you can put, like a fatty area right underneath the skin. And Thursday D's child says, you do realize that this idea was talked about with the government years ago, and it was a post. Yes, but that was years ago, and we have the technology now. Like someone said earlier, we could put this chip in, it would be the size of a grain of rice or smaller. And Dodie says that would be scary biblically. And that's exactly what I said. I believe it would be a lot of opposition. It's a very controversial idea. Um, well, the Rebel says the punishment should be so horrendous that someone would think twice about murdering a child. I agree with that. Look at these other countries, third world countries, that if you steal something, they cut your hand off so you can no longer steal. Um, I'm not saying we could get that extreme, but I do think when we have an extreme case, for instance, like what happened with Faye, of course, that perpetrator is already dead. But if the perpetrator is still alive, he should be, in my opinion, tortured. Put through just unbelievable stuff. And then he would think the next time, oh God, if I do that again. Elysian Fields, I agree. Children are not dogs or cats. I agree completely with that. And I'm telling you right now, 100%, it would be a controversial idea. That's why I think it should be left up to the parents, whether they did it or not. But it definitely, and I'm not saying, in my opinion, it would be something that you would need to sit down and think about, and make a rational decision on, in my opinion. Hello, Michelle. How are you? Thank you. Glad to see you here. Glad to see everyone here. 96 people. I hope you hit the like or dislike button for me. Whichever one it is. Either one helps me. So if you don't mind, just touch that like button. If you haven't subscribed, hit that subscribe button. It's right in the corner of the picture. Just seeing if I had any messages related to what we were talking about. Well, the rebel. Well, if it's a male perpetrator, and he has sexually assaulted a child, I believe they should cut off certain parts of his body. Lawless Lane says she would worry that something would be created to block the GPS, and then it was all for nothing. That's a very, very good point. Thanks for bringing that up. I hadn't even thought about that. I heard a police officer say one time, you'll have one police officer looking to break the case, and you've got 1,000 people looking to cause the case to not be broken. Gypsy Rhiannon said it's awful what happened. It's awful what's happened lately. I'm kind of glad some are not covered. It's horrific. One mom hangs her kids. I know, I seen that. And what was the lady's name back a few? I think her husband's name was David Smith. Michelle Clifford. Who I cannot even fathom wondering what would cause a man to do that. The lady's name in South Carolina, she put her kids in the car and drove them into a pond or a lake. I think her last name was Smith. And she got on the television, Susan Smith. I'm going to try to find her interview and show it to you guys, because I don't know if y'all want to see it or not, but I want to see it again, because just the way this lady acted is unbelievable. Please read my above question. Okay, give me just a second to find it. I'm looking for it. Let's see. Won't that only help identify the child if lost or found deceased? Wouldn't the only way to find anyone would be with a type of beacon or cell phone which require a battery? Yeah, it would definitely be interesting subject to discuss. Give me a second. I want to find that Susan Smith interview and play that because it was just unbelievable the way she begged for the return of her children, and she had actually murdered them by driving them in the water. And how could you watch a car go in the water with your children in it? I don't even know. Let's see if I can find it where she's begging for the return of her kids. Trying to find. I can't see your comments right now, so if you say anything.
A carjacker stole her 2 babies. What everyone hoped would be a joyous appearance by Susan and David Smith becomes yet another anguished plea.
I would like to say to whoever has my children that they please bring them home to us where they belong.
Yeah, that case was sickening. She blamed a black male for carjacking her car with her kids in it and drove off. And she actually left them in the car and actually just pushed the car into the water and watched her kids go in. And knowing they were going to drown it's horrific. Reminds me of Diane Downs. I think that was her name. For several days, the lady begged for the return of her children and then came out and found out it was her that had actually murdered them and blamed it on a black man carjacking her car. So, look at the lack of eye contact. Yeah. Oh, I'm going to try to find another longer video of that because she actually begs and pleads and everything.
She murdered her children, then lied to the world.
I can't sleep, I can't eat, I can't do anything but think about them.
For 9 days, the nation searched in vain.
Susan Smith has been arrested and will be charged with 2 counts of murder in connection to the deaths of her children.
She slammed the door on him and let him roll. Deliberately, premeditatedly murdered Michael and Alex.
So we might watch parts of that. That's a full documentary. Those two, of all the people in the world, that would love to have a child, if you don't want your children, give them to someone who wants a child that's unable to have a child, that would actually give them a decent life. Instead of murdering them or whatever's gone on with Gannon. I know there's a lot of rumors and speculation and a lot of stuff being said. And the cops are being really, really tight-lipped about that case. And I think that's a good idea. It's like there's something in the water in Colorado. It seems like every story you see here lately, Colorado, or one of the Carolina states, North or South Carolina. I don't know if there's something in the water there or what. Yes, please hit the like button or the dislike button. It doesn't matter to me, one or the other. Both is helpful to me. So let me ask, does anybody want to come on? Does anybody know any details that I've not gone over? I know there's not a lot that I've gone over because I haven't had a lot of time to do a lot of research on these cases. And I know there's a lot of cases, that we've, been covering. I can remember, and this has nothing to do with any missing kids or anything, but somebody was talking about locking your doors. I can remember as a kid, and we lived in the city, and we never locked our doors. They was always just open. I mean, not standing open, but they were unlocked. You could just walk in at any time. And we never had to worry about anything like that. And nowadays, it's just the complete opposite. We live in and we've had this discussion before. Has it always been like that? This and the media just now covers it, or is there more cases happening today than there ever has been? That's something I think about a lot. I think maybe it's a combination of both. The media covers it, but it's happening more and more. A lot of times you have what's called copycat killers or copycat perpetrators. They go out, they see something on TV, and for some reason they're fascinated with, and they copy this person that has done these horrific crimes. And then if the actual person that's doing it done it, and you have a copycat, it can get really tangled. Angela says she shared. Yeah, I seen that. Let me go back and put that up. Let me get to the True Crime Files page. Show that missing poster. I'm going to show this to you guys. Angela Lassiter shared it on the Facebook page. I'm just going to show this picture to you guys. Hello, everyone. Hello, Soul Eyes. I have some personal info and interesting artifacts about serial killer, but can't go online. Okay, sure. Just let me know when you can. Anytime any of you guys want to come on and tell a story, something that's happened to you, maybe your substance abuse issues, or just anything you'd like to talk about, please don't hesitate to come on and share your story with us. That's what it's all about, right? Like a support group. But let me show you this picture. This is shared by Angela Lassiter. So it's nonprofit missing person network, missing Danielle Burger. She's been missing since February 14th of 2020, so Valentine's Day, just 3 days ago. She has brown eyes. She's 5'3", and her hair is black, dark brown. Danielle was last seen on Country Club Road in Gering, Nebraska on February 14th, 2020. Her clothing is to believe pants are black Adidas with white stripes going down the sides. She had a top on that was a royal blue hoodie with the gold ULCA letters. That might be UCLA, I'm not sure. And shoes are black and white checkered Vans. Please contact us with any information you have. And it says you can report a tip email at justicetakesflightinc@gmail.com, or you can call the Gering Police Department at 308-436-5088. So I just wanted to share that picture with you guys. I believe Angela also has some more information on that case. When she comes on, she can share it with us. Hello, Ween. No applause needed. I understand. Alicia says Susan Smith can apply for parole in 2024. Hopefully, she never gets parole. She does not deserve to walk the streets after what she did to her two beautiful kids. Unbelievable. And the way she begged for them back is just terrible. It breaks your heart knowing that somebody would have took those kids, no questions asked. And, what had happened was she had started having an affair. And the man she was having an affair with didn't want kids. And so he basically told her, you have kids, we can't be together. So we were just kind of going over, we were talking about the Susan Smith case. I believe it's out of South Carolina a few years ago, when the lady begged for the return of her children. And hey, bro, I'm sorry to change the subject, but what are your thoughts on AD dragging out the Watts case? Now he's saying NK is in the house and escaped out the basement window. To be honest with you, Anthony, I haven't had time to watch his channel out of respect to the Ruseks. We don't talk about the Watts case here unless it's something, something new has came up. For instance, if they had another arrest in the case, or Chris Watts was murdered in prison, anything like that, we will cover something like that. But just out of respect for the Ruseks, we don't talk about it. Susan Smith should have received an Oscar for that performance. It was unbelievable, and she done all that for simply to be with another man that didn't want children. Lizaka, the Twisted Hook Parsons, I believe that's how you pronounce it. She says Susan Smith was 24 years ago. That is hard to believe that was 24 years ago. It seems like, and thank you, Michelle Clifford, for that nice compliment. That was very nice of you to say. I appreciate that. He is now on the shadows of the Gannon case. He said he is the developer of Shadows who solved the Waltz case. To be honest with you, I haven't been watching him, so I've really not been keeping up with him. So I really can't comment on anything he's doing. I just have no idea. Just a little piece of advice. And this is for me too, because I have a hard time with this. When you see something on YouTube and you don't like it, you can simply go to another channel or turn it off. You do not have to watch it. I see some people watching videos, and it makes them really upset, and I don't understand the logic with that. If it makes you that upset, just don't watch it. And we've talked about it. Nothing that has been said on YouTube has affected me in real life. Nothing, not one thing. So I put on my page, please do not share or send me links of these things that are on YouTube, because I don't want to see them. People have the right, it's freedom of speech. They have the right to their opinion. And that's all I have to say about that. But I put up a thing earlier. I'm going to show you guys again because I thought it was really, really good. You guys might not like this. You guys might, but I thought this was a good picture. So I'm going to show it to you again. Some of you might not have seen it. So it says they have to talk about you because when they talk about themselves, nobody listens. Think about that for a minute and how true that is. Why do they talk about us? It obviously brings attention. If they talk about themselves, who watches? So it can affect your life. What I mean by nothing, I just mean like my children and things like that. Life has went on. It flowed perfectly this weekend without a hitch, and nothing that's said on YouTube affected anything this weekend. Cheryl says beating the crap out of someone in Earl, I don't know where she's talking about, is illegal. So sometimes just a good old-fashioned smackdown of stupidness online can be therapeutic. I agree. I had an off day the other day where I went a different direction than I usually do. And I thought about it the next day in real life. Okay, sorry. I thought about it the next day, and I realized that what I was doing wasn't right. It was basically the same thing they're doing, and I let it go. So that's it. Conveyed hat 344 says, I knew someone that was in jail with Susan Smith, and every night the other women in the prison would torture her verbally by crying like children and saying, Mommy, please don't. Hey, I don't have a problem with that whatsoever. What do you guys think about that? Just like with the Chris Watts case, when the other prisoners tried to get him to commit suicide by sticking his head in the toilet. Actually, I think they should live long, horrible lives. Alice, I think I was watching. I think she deleted her old channels and created a new channel, I believe, but I'm not completely sure about that. You would have to actually check and see. So I'm not sure. I agree. She deserves every bit of that. She faked it and all, and she is just off the charts with drama and lies. I don't know about that. I just don't know, so I can't really say anything because I don't know. And Angela Lassiter, she has a good point. I'm gonna put that up. It's a good idea. She thinks death row inmates should be used for testing like guinea pigs. Not a bad idea, in my opinion. Sorry, not sorry. Ange says, I'm with you 100%. And Ange The Lassiter says, sorry, you're not sorry. Alice says, I never really watched her. I found out about her from Braun and saw she was having a hard time. Then her channel was gone. I hope she's okay, but I guess if she is, if she has Patreon. I used to subscribe to her channel, and I quit watching because I felt like I was watching a nervous breakdown happen right before my eyes, and I didn't want to see that. So I didn't no longer watch. That's what I thought. Would anybody like to come on and talk about anything going on? Really, nobody in particular, Wayne. We're just kind of going from one subject to another. I think actually at the time, Mary Marlowe. And to be honest with you guys, I really used to like her channel a lot. And then, like I said, I felt like I was watching her have a nervous breakdown right before my eyes, and I just didn't want to see that. Stop every time you light a cigarette after you go outside and smoke. We'll just smoke in the house. Use them for organ donors. One thing that kind of bothers me about death row inmates is they're always saying cruel or unusual punishment. And then the way you find out the way they killed their victim. And you think, you wasn't worried about that for your victim. Sorry about the dead air, just reading comments.
Union, South Carolina. They call it the city of hospitality. A typical small town where neighbors know one another and life revolves around family and religion. Downtown, only 5 blocks long, is quiet on Sundays, except for the occasional passing train and the ringing of church bells. The nearby textile mills provide steady work for many Union residents. And 60 miles of highway and winding back roads isolate the town from the dangers of the nearest big city, Columbia. Around 3:30 p.m. on October 25th, 1994, Susan Vaughn Smith left the Conzo Products Company, a fabric trim and tassel manufacturer, where she worked as a secretary. She was upset. Her boyfriend, Tom Findlay, the son of the company owner, had recently ended their relationship.
I don't believe we've lost the video. I don't know what happens to that. So anyway, that was just a little bit of a documentary about the Susan Smith. So 1994, So in October, that will be 26 years ago. And that's really, really hard to believe that it has been that long since that happened. Hello, Brooke. How are you tonight? Hope you're doing well. It's been a while since I talked to you. How's everything going? Angela, that's the year I graduated also, 1994. It's hard to believe I've been out of school 25, 26 years. We had our 25-year reunion last fall. That's unbelievable. Yeah, the Susan Smith story was a definitely an odd. Let me see if I can get it back to play now.
They reached the access road to John D. Long Lake. Susan said the man abruptly told her to stop the car and get out, then stuck the gun to her side. Smith said she pleaded frantically for her children, but the black man pushed her out of the car and drove off with Michael and Alex. She ran to the nearest house, sobbing and crying for help. The family called 911.
Did he have any weapons, gun, anything?
He's got a gun.
Got a gun.
Yes, ma'am.
I'll be right back. Just watch this and I'll be right back.
Within minutes, Union Sheriff Howard Wells was on the scene. He immediately notified the FBI and the South Carolina Law Enforcement Division, known as SLED, a highly trained state police investigative unit. They dispatched agents to Union to assist the sheriff in the search for the alleged carjacker. Soon after, the boy's father, David Smith, rushed to Susan's side.
When I got there, she was hysterical. I had to literally pick her up off the floor and take her into the other room, sit down with her on the couch.
Later that night, David called his father.
I said, she ain't holding the bumper. I would have, they wouldn't have drove off of my kids. I was something when that car would have still been in my hand and he drove off, But there was never any doubt, in his mind that the kids were kidnapped. I believed Susan, as I've stated before, 100%, completely. Never beyond that I did.
So that's her husband, and he's saying that he never in a million years would have imagined that she had been behind what happened to the children. Like I said, she accused a black man of carjacking the car, pushing her out, and driving off. Just trying to narrate this documentary a little bit so we don't get a copyright strike for showing it. How do you guys, I can see your comments now because I'm looking on my phone, but how do you guys like these older cases like this? This Susan Smith case, I remember it a lot because it had a lot of media coverage on it, and I really liked going back and watching things like this. Someone in the room was talking about the. I can go back and look. There's so many names I can't remember, and I apologize for that. But they was talking about the Jack the Ripper case, and I'll tell you a case that I really I hate to use the word like or good or anything like that, but I'm really intrigued by it. Is the John List case, and I know you guys have heard me talk about it a million times. Angela Lassiter says it's true crime. It's like pizza. Even if it's bad, it's still good. I agree with that. I love going back and watching old cases like this. I know you guys have heard the story. I've told it several times. The Glenn Rogers, the serial killer, He actually gave me a ride to get my first paycheck when I was 14 years old working in tobacco. Wayne says, be honest, spend most of the time watching classic rock blues concert, Trower, Clapton, Albert King, etc. Just can't get overly into it. Yeah, I understand. Everybody has got their, their thing that they like, and that's great. It's cool. That's why I don't understand why people spend so much time on channels they don't like. It's just that's intriguing to me. Spending so much time negatively, especially when you speak about your faith and you pray and things like that, but yet you can say horrific things about someone. I don't understand that. I can't put two and two together on that. But I guess it is what it is. It's me, says she likes anything crime related. So this is the husband of Susan Smith talking here. And what he's talking about is how he did not believe, in a million years that his wife could be involved. So can you guys hear this okay? Is it loud enough? Ray Albert says, Braun, I lived in the next town over from John List. I was 7 years old. Wow. So you was really close to the house and everything. Does the house that's happening, is it still standing? I remember a couple years ago seeing something about it. Yeah, Wayne, and you've defended me a lot, and I appreciate everything. I appreciate everyone that's had my back through this ridiculousness that goes on YouTube. It's let me say this: people, if you have an illness or of any kind, and people say they are your friend. If they are your friend, they are not going to encourage you. Good night, Cheryl. Have a good night. Be careful. They are not going to encourage you to keep going on with this. It burnt down, Braun. Okay, cool. Well, I didn't know that. I need to check into that. When did it burn, if you don't mind me asking, if you know? But guys, if you know someone who's suffering from an illness and they need help, try to get them help, because if you're encouraging them to do what's upsetting them, you're not really their friend. That's pretty cool. Alicia Ann, Glenn Rogers gave me a ride. He had a great big old van. It was one of them Dodge Ram. I can't remember the name of it, but they was popular back in like the 90s and the 80s. And he drove me and my best friend at the time. His name was Chris. We was working in tobacco. And he was actually married to Chris's, let's see, it'd be his, and it would, I guess, Chris's cousin. And he gave us a ride to get our first paycheck. I can remember the night. Ray says he don't know exactly what year, but they built a new house, and then that house burnt down also. So wow. All right. So yeah, Angela, I've seen that. That was a really interesting case where the girl encouraged the boy to commit suicide, and she is now guilty of homicide. He talked about wanting to commit suicide. And I think if it had not been for her, he probably would not have committed suicide, because he was always at that point where he wanted to, but he didn't want to. And she kept encouraging him. And then finally he committed suicide. I think he used carbon monoxide in his truck. I think that was in Massachusetts. Is that right, where that happened at? Glenn Rogers is believed by some to have helped O.J. commit the murders. If you watch the documentary that's on YouTube about Glenn Rogers, His brother is kind of like the narrator throughout the whole documentary, and he says that OJ or that Glenn told him. He says, Nicole Simpson, OJ's wife. He said, and he actually said, "Well, I killed that bitch." That was his exact words. Um, You'll come on, but you're wearing a UT shirt, Vols Nation. Uh, it'd be UK and Tennessee going at it. But the Glenn Rogers case, I can remember Glenn Rogers sitting on the back porch and crying over this woman he was married to. And some people speculate that this divorce from this woman, Hamilton, that's where he's from. Yeah, the Dodge Caravan, that's it. No, I don't know if it's a Caravan. It was the big model, the great big one, not like an RV or anything. Yeah, Glenn Rogers was born in Hamilton, Ohio, and he was also in Beattyville, Kentucky. He was actually captured in Waco, Kentucky by the Kentucky State Police. Have you watched the movie? Yes, I have. I actually love the John List case. When John List he killed his entire family. His last son, I believe, was John Jr. that he killed. I believe. Yeah, it's the Ram van. That's it, Angela. You got the Dodge Ram van. But anyway, John List had already killed all of his family, and he goes to the school and picks up his last kid, and he takes the kid. The kid has a soccer game. He takes the kid to the soccer game. The kid watches or plays in the soccer game. His John List is in the stands watching him. And he goes out afterwards. They go get ice cream, I think from like a Dairy Queen or something. And then he goes home and kills him, the last child. His mother they had like an attic apartment, and his mother lived in the attic apartment. And he killed her too. And he left a note, and it was addressed to his preacher, explaining why he had done what he done. And he apologized. He put all their bodies together side by side except for his mom, and he said the reason he didn't put his mom with the rest of the bodies, he said she was too heavy to carry. So he said that I think he had lost his job or something like that. And he was afraid that his children were on the wrong path, and he wanted them all to go to heaven. So he killed them so they would go to heaven and not go down the wrong road. He turns the air conditioner down as cold as it will go to prevent the rice from decomposing really quickly. And he takes off. And he actually ends up getting married. He goes on to work another job. And it's many, many, many years before he is caught. And he was caught after they done his story on America's Most Wanted. And there was a guy on there that made clay dummies. And he had made a clay head, a head out of clay, of what he thought John List would look like to this day. And he even had thick black frame glasses on the clay head. And when they caught him, his similarities to this clay head was remarkable, even down to the glasses that the guy had put on his face. So it was, if you haven't watched the John List story, is a good one. Susan Smith, Glenn Rogers. But anyways, I've been on about an hour and a half, so I'm going to take off. I guess I will be on tomorrow, unless something comes up. I just want to thank you guys for joining me for a little while tonight, and I appreciate it. And if you have anything you need to pass on, just shoot me an email or a message. So Liza says she thinks the responsibility was too much for me. I think he had 5 kids and his mother and then his wife, and he killed all of them. So if there's a night you don't have anything to do, go to YouTube and watch the John List story. You'll really like that. Yeah, he was actually, wasn't he living in Virginia? He had lived in Colorado for several years. He was remarried, and he had a job as an accountant. And then he went on and they moved to Virginia, I believe is where they actually caught him at. And they said the neighbors saw the America's Most Wanted show, and they thought, oh, that can't be him, but it looked so much like him they had to call. So yeah, it's an older case, Dodie. Just type in John List, and you'll pull up a lot of stuff. But I think you'll really like this. Oh, I'm sorry, trauma nurse. Are you working tonight? I'll have to check that out, Alicia Ann. I hadn't heard about that. I haven't even heard that name before. Will I share Danielle's information one more time before I go? Sure, I sure will. Give me just a second to pull it up. Okay, so Angela wants me to share this information about this missing girl, Danielle Burger from Gering, Nebraska. She's been missing since February 14th of 2020, which was just a few days ago. Brown eyes, 5'3". Her hair is black, dark brown. She was last seen on Country Club Road in Gering, Nebraska on Valentine's Day. Her clothing, she believed, was pants with black Adidas pants with white stripes going down the sides. She was believed to be wearing a top royal blue hoodie with gold. It says ULCA letters, but I'm assuming that's supposed to be UCLA letters. I'm assuming it could be that, but I'm just assuming. And it says she had black and white checkered Vans on. And if you have a tip or anything, you can contact Justice Takes Flight Inc. at gmail.com or the Gering Police Department at 308-436-5088. So there's that shared for you, Angela. It's also on the Facebook True Crime Files page. But you guys have a great night. Thanks for sharing your evening with me. And if you missed it live, just go back and watch it. And y'all have a good night. And I'll see you tomorrow. Take care, guys.